everybody. It is Tuesday, July 6, 2021, and we'll call the Prescott Planning Commission meeting to order. Take roll call. Steve Eggers.
Here.
Walter Narag.
Here.
Connie Wenzel.
Here.
Josh Jurgen.
Here.
Robert Doherty.
Here.
Steve Most.
Here.
Todd is also here, and Jane is here. Approval of the minutes of June 7th, 2021.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion made, second. Approve the minutes of June 7th, 2021. Any discussion on the motion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is a concept plan for Pine Ridge Hillside. So, I think someone's here to present it.
Jim's here.
Step up, step up. You get the, we want to make
We're
sure you make the
now
TV
on
screen.
TV.
Smile and say hi to mom when you get there. And state your name, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Jim French. I'm from just outside of town in Clifton. So I'm here to present the concept plan for a property that's located, I guess, at the intersection essentially of Dexter and Walnut, which is, I think, I don't know what direction that is, southeast of the high school, somewhere in that vicinity. So. The current concept, as laid out here, shows 50 lots. I think we'll lose a bunch of lots just with the great mass grading that's going to have to occur on this site, and any number of adjustments that will be made along the way. But this will be probably the top side. I imagine we're in the 40s, somewhere in there after it's all said and done. So yeah, I guess the idea here is that. As it's laid out in front of everybody, we haven't pinned down if we'd have to go through a PUD, but I believe we would. And then at least on the interior lots, and the exterior lots would be a little larger eventually. They'll be a little larger and can come down into the valley a little bit as well. So we recognize that we will have to likely have a lift station for this property. It's just the elevations don't work for utilities. In addition, we've been talking with some of the members that are of the community that are trying to put together the trail system through here, and anticipate making provisions to allow that trail system to come through an adjacent property that we own and up into potentially this development if that's desired.
All right. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts?
To the station in my spot. So, yeah, that sounds good about that.
I had a different thought. Gravity feed it down through McGee Park and out to the south side of town. Because if you own everything inside the red, it's a matter of getting permission from the city to go through McGee Park, and I'm sure easements and trails, you just work that system out that way.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
I don't know if the lift station's cheaper or running the pipe that far down is more expensive,
Right.
but it's an option.
Okay.
Something I think you could look at. Anybody else have questions? I mean, I have a few, but
Forgive me if it's a silly question, but are these lots going to be, you're going to sell them off and people are going to bring their own builder, or do you have a builder that's going to develop them, or?
Too early to tell, I guess, right now. They'll, again, maybe could be a mix of both, right? Sometimes a portion gets allocated to a builder, or a number of lots gets allocated to a builder, or it's all open, or there's different product types within the development as well. So a little early to tell, but I think through the process that'll become a little clearer.
all right. As far as parkland dedication, are you going to dedicate a certain amount for park land?
Yeah, well, so logically, I guess it ties into McGee Park here.
Mm-hmm.
So some land on the south side could be a potential there. But yeah, no, haven't. I understand. I recognize that that's an obligation. So.
And at one point, weren't you going to try to develop this lower open field, or is that down too close to the floodplain?
It's off of it. There's on the south side, it's developable, but just navigating a road through there gets a little tricky. It's kind of cut off here, but there's that just south of there is that obviously the I guess the recycling center or
Right.
whatever it is on that
Where the bins are?
entrance to McGee's Park. It gets a little dicey from terrain standpoint as you kind of cut through the woods right there up
When
to
you
this
walk through
backfield.
it, yeah.
I suppose you need a bridge there.
You might, yeah.
Cross it and cross it.
Yep. It gets a little
No, it's fine. I just thought, I was curious.
It's a little dicey.
Yeah, and so I was thinking park, you're gonna have to do some parkland dedication, I'm not sure what. Lift station, I still think gravity feed. Trails, that would be one thing I'd say, you know what, maybe we would say you need sidewalks. Because I'm one of those, I think sidewalks are important, but it's kind of a dead end, but maybe it's the easement to the city for a trail system that goes from
Sure.
McGee Park on up.
Sure.
Which is part of the subdivision cost. And it's a matter of what works and where the one group wants to put it. We'd work with them. And then I'm just thinking slopes. I just started digging into the ordinance. I should have dug a little deeper about, okay, can you develop on a slope that's like this? No, you're not gonna put a house in there, and I don't want you doing
Right.
too much to that slope, because, again, my experience in other areas, other places I've worked, is you start developing this, go like this, well then pretty soon you're running water down that hillside and you got a big ravine instead of a nice hillside.
Right.
So those are some of the concerns I would have, and I know that's probably where you're saying it's gonna go from 50 to 40 lots. Just a thought, and then the grade, I think the one thing I did catch is this would be considered minor arterial roads. So the maximum grade is 10%. So coming off of Walnut right now,
Right at that
I know
corner.
that looks pretty steep, so there again, maybe it's gonna go a little more and you
Sure.
have two cul-de-sacs. Just, I haven't dug into as much as I would like, but I would for your next phase, so you can kind of read through that,
Okay.
work with staff. Of course, you can have your architect, engineer, whatever, kind of look it over and say, oh, Dave's nuts, we'll do just fine.
No, I
They
think
say that all the time, but wouldn't want to be normal. Everyone's normal, I think. Oh, except for Rob. Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts? Any concerns that you have? It's a concept. He's just asking questions, and I would say go into the subdivision ordinance a little bit more in detail and watch those lots. You're not going to do it on a hillside, but
Right.
maybe like you say, you're going to have a half-acre lot instead of 3 lots.
Yeah,
Charge a little
right.
more, and they got more space. So, anything else? Any thoughts?
Maybe
Anybody?
that slope, that 10%, is that a county thing?
That might be what is it? The 20% slope is usually where they are real concerned. 10% they're not quite as bad.
No, I heard from Donnie Johnson years ago. He said they had an ordinance for the slope on driveways and such. You can't have more than
I see, for a driveway.
an 8% or whatever the heck.
That might be in the township. I don't know if we have something here, but I know
Yeah,
townships for fire truck purposes, you don't want a slope that's a driveway like this.
Yeah, you mentioned the county, but I don't know.
And that's why I think the county, if the township didn't have their own ordinance, the county kicks in, and I think the county, if Todd, I know our building inspector deals with a lot of townships, and there's a certain grade or maximum grade for, getting at a house to fight fire.
Sure. Okay.
So, and that would just be for the road themselves too. So, I like the idea. Go ahead.
I have an overall question with the additional 40 questionable 50 houses. Is our current sewage treatment plant large enough to cover this? Yeah.
It is.
It is?
But believe it or not, I remember back when they put the plant there, and I was fighting about it. Geez, shouldn't they put it where his other subdivisions going, the
Right.
man cave ones? And the DNR guy said, we were worried about capacity. He says, but in reality, in the next 20 years, they'll find ways of reducing the amount of water use. Instead of the 5-gallon flush tank, another
Right.
gallon and a half.
Right.
So our treatment plant, and then I
Okay.
think we've done something to the treatment plant.
New technology. Yep.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
treat faster and quicker, so
Okay.
we can handle this. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, when they put that treatment plant in, they said, yeah, pretty much the city limits that we have now,
Right.
we could develop into housing, which the high school is supposed to be housing,
Right.
would handle that.
Okay.
So, but thank you for that question. Any other thoughts or ideas or
Is this just
concerns?
going to be a half of a roundabout down here? Is that what you're kind of proposing?
Yeah, I'm not.
That was
Yeah.
kind of odd.
There'll be some, obviously that corner, that lot that's pretty steep. That's not going to end up being a lot. So
Yeah.
we'll have to try to
Okay,
navigate.
That whole back corner might be a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
I
Big
did.
long driveway. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can ask questions here yet. So there's this kind of weird kind of utility easement, I'll call it.
Is that little road?
Yeah.
Space
It's
there?
like essentially half a Dexter. Do you know what that is?
Oh, hold on. I gotta think Dexter.
Right here.
So yeah, I'm sorry. It's down where it kind of jogs around that lot there.
Yep.
And then it's to the left-hand side on the plan. It's just right next to that property line.
That's an easement, huh?
I think so.
Or was it maybe set out as a future roadway? And
I think it could have been a future roadway.
I guess what
It never got.
I'd suggest
Yeah.
go to the county and find out who owns it or what it's,
We'll look
who
at it.
owns it.
Okay,
Because maybe it's just a piece of land that's kind of landlocked, and we try
Okay.
to figure out how to clean that up and bring it in.
sure. That might help a transition into that
Right.
other adjacent property if
Oh, I
that
see what you're
was-
saying. Yep, yep.
There's a garage down there, right on that corner. That's tucked down in there.
Okay,
If you go up on Dexter Street and look right on that intersection, there's a garage tucked in down there.
Right on that corner.
Yeah, that's
No, but he's talking farther south, Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See where it says property line in that jog? We're actually.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah. Well, that's not even showing the house on there.
I just got to buy out that Josh Henniker's house and just put the road down through there. I'm sure that'd be cheap.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's laughing at me. It's only money. What the heck? Got to spend it to make it. They tell me.
But there is a house right on that.
Right on that corner. Yeah.
And that's just it. That house got put in
That's
where
where
they
Scott
should have
Meyer
probably
was
not.
living
City
when he
should have never
died.
let that happen. That house go in. Then it might have been. Dexter could have went down there and probably
Anyway.
continued on.
All right, what you're seeing on this is not showing what there really is.
Yeah.
With that corner and that red.
Past planners and city council.
Oh,
Go ahead, do
sure.
what you want.
You're talking, yeah, I know,
You
yeah.
go up to that corner on Dexter Street off of Walnut, you'll
Yep.
see the house that was straight ahead and right, that's where Scott Meyer lived there.
Okay,
And down over the little knob, there's a garage tucked in.
yeah, okay.
yeah.
The only thing
Josh.
that then is off the property line is gonna be his little shed that's in there then
That
too.
might not be on their own property.
Yep. So, yeah, that piece you're talking about, we could find out who owns it, if it's an easement, or
Okay.
maybe it's a public right of way, and we somehow dedicate and flip flop and swap and
Sure.
make it happen. And I know what you mean. You want to get over here to this one of Greg Johns and Pat Os's, right?
Yep.
That would make sense to tie it together if we could, but it's an awful steep slope there too.
It is, if we can kind of.
Not that we wouldn't allow a road to be built, but houses there, but maybe culverts and the right thing. You could
Right,
jump a road through there.
yep,
I'm not saying it's a definite no, but
okay.
you're gonna have to show us, how you're controlling the runoff and so forth, so on.
Yep,
Anybody else have questions?
I think he's got a lot of stuff to work on, that's all.
But you got general. I don't
Yeah.
think we're totally against it, but it's the
No.
steep slopes and stuff I'm concerned about.
right,
Is the biggest thing you got to think about, and then just check grades. Can you make the grades that the subdivision ordinance in the city says?
right, okay.
All right, that's it. Anybody else? All right, thanks, Jim.
Yep, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. We'll catch you later, and hope we'll see you in the future on something. All right, I think we should take an hour recess quick. And the guys in the back are laughing. What the heck? Okay, the next item on the agenda is Costco Marine Edition site and utility plan, architectural plans, and landscape. Who would like to present this? Hold it. Can you see him over there, Larry? Or is he gonna make you move?
He's
You're good? Ah, darn it. I wanted
Can you
to
move
move.
the camera?
I think you should have your tie on.
The light was pretty good.
Yeah, you got good lighting. You look good.
It's for the map.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure.
I'm Louis, Philkins with Ogden Engineering. I'm here representing Casco, who's proposing a addition to the building out on Canton Street. With me tonight, Trevor Johnson with Casco.
Hang on. They can't pick you up on the microphone,
Oh, shoot.
but that's okay because they're
Take Steve. Steve don't mind. Oh.
We'll just put it on the chair a little bit here. I think they'll hear you there.
All these special things. How's that? Good.
Yep.
So Trevor and Brock Martinson with Pope Architects. So I will take you through the site plan and any questions about that. Hopefully I can answer any questions about the building. Brock can help you with, and operations. Trevor's the guy for that. So I assume most people, I think the site plan is the last page of your packet, and then the other pages in there are architectural plans. So this is their existing building, kind of the white middle piece. Everybody's familiar with where we're at here. Here's Canton Street, North Acres, Highway 10's right here. So they're proposing to purchase a couple acres from Gary Reese, Stagecoach up here, and along with it, 2 buildings. And that was the CSM, I think it was here last month, was for that combining of parcels. So they have a purchase agreement to purchase that, and then add on the blue parts are the proposed building additions. So a little bit to the south end, up by the offices now, and the majority is on the north end, and a lot of that is new loading dock area is the far north end. So that's what the blue color indicates. The kind of tan color is a reconfigured parking lot in front. It would have the same access off of North Acres and the same access off of Canton, but it would just be turned to be 90 degrees or parallel with the building. And then the other tan area up on the north end is new pavement associated with the new building. There's a little bit of concrete for the loading docks. And then the green area is proposed lawn, and the reason we kind of highlighted that is because we're trying to, or we have accomplished a balance of impervious and impervious, pavement, grass, so that we don't have additional runoff with the site. So we're trying to fall under the city's ordinance. We're not creating any more runoff than exists now. So there are existing stormwater facilities on site, mainly the big pond, which they use for testing and advertising, so to speak, right now. But that's an important thing, is that a lot of this gravel area on the north end that's owned by Stagecoach now will be turned back into lawn area to accomplish that balance. So I just wanted to point that out. Casco also has an agreement with Gary to allow the same amount of stormwater to go north that he had planned. So a few years ago we were here, and Gary was presenting a plan to build out what he had, and a part of that, there's a large stormwater pond on the north end of his property. So that water was designed to go from what he has now, much of it, north, and they have that same agreement in place that can continue in the future. So we do have a little bit of extending the storm sewer down this orange here to try to accommodate that.
And that's a recorded easement?
It will be once the property is purchased. Yep.
Recorded on the deed.
So a lot of the property is kind of staying the same. This existing building is going to remain for now on the north end. Same with the one in the back. There's a mezzanine plan for the interior down here in the corner of the existing Casco building, but that's inside, so that's kind of something for Brock. This existing drive remains coming in on the east side. The pond remains. So I reconfigured the driveway with the same two. And that's kind of the basics of the site plan. Everything asphalted or lawn or landscaped. We are proposing that storm sewer is very difficult on the site because the existing loading dock area was hard to get that to drain. We could maybe try to take it to the north just barely, but then we were kind of adding more water to that existing pond on the north end of Gary's. So what we did instead is new storm sewer down and across North Acres Road.
Yeah.
And exiting, virtually at the same place that the storm sewer that they have now exits.
And that's if the pond overflows, that's where that exits?
No, that's...
Or you're talking roof drainage?
Yeah, that's just roof and some of the loading dock area draining to that. So.
All right. Any questions?
We did meet with Mike Kinnaman on this, and he didn't see any issues with any of all this with drain or anything.
Well, then I know that I was going to ask about the drainage and say, is that green space going to be a place where water goes to? But if you already have it going north and have an easement to drain it, kind of answered my question. And like I say, you took gravel and put grass, it helps a ton. So even though it had a hard surface. Anybody else have questions? Any thoughts for the site plan?
That green area there, is that going to be blacktop around it?
Yes.
For crushed
Yeah,
rock?
that tan area around it will be asphalt.
Okay. And the same thing out to Canton there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, out in here, yes.
Yep.
All right. Nothing else for Lori. How about on the
The,
building? Go ahead, Steve.
The front area where the parking lot is, you said you're redoing that, restructuring that, just changing parking configuration, or? Did I catch that?
Yeah, if you look
I do see.
closely, you can see kind of a gray underlined under the
Oh,
tan
I do
area.
see that, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the existing parking lot is kind of angled in there. And that was built as an addition, I think, in, what year was it, 2012 or 13 or so? So that was new then, and that was adding on to another parking lot. So this one, just to get everything, the addition to fit in and get everything to fit better, we're just, rebuilding it to be parallel.
With this growth plan, are you guys going to be hiring more people? Like, is the lot big enough to suffice for?
We will be hiring more. Sorry, I'm Trevor. Yes, we'll be hiring some more.
You should
not
step up
immediately.
and talk there next to Louis. We'd like you
Sure.
on camera just so. And the people that are on watch on TV can hear you, and that's what we're here for.
Sure. Yeah, so we will be hiring more. It's not going to be like as soon as we open it up, we're going to add a whole bunch of people or anything like that. We've been on a pretty steady growth pace, and we want to plan for the future. So we've actually hired more over the last year, and part of the excitement is coming back from a year of people working more remotely. We ran out of space. So it's planning for the future. We're growing now, but it won't be like a switch flips and all of a sudden we had 20 people or something like that.
Sure.
But over the next 5 to 10 years, yeah, we expect steady growth.
And I believe his question is, do we need more parking? 'Cause
That's
one
kind of
for
what
every-
the top-
one for every
yes.
so
I can help answer that one. So,
Yeah.
so
one for every so many people. Or so many,
the new parking lot is about 31 stalls, or is 31 stalls. And that's about what was there before. And then in addition to that, they have parking in this area and around, even if needed, around the backside of the building. There's potential for another 25 to 30 stalls up here. So in total, somewhere around 60 stalls. And I think, Trevor, you had guesstimated your 5-year employee count at like 45, is that about right?
I think it was, might have been mid-50s.
Mid-50s, okay.
and then me as a code guy would say, well, but our ordinance says one for every so many square feet. Not saying that 45 isn't enough, but
Right.
we have an ordinance that says X per number of employees or so many square feet. So just think of that too. You're probably going to meet it, but just something to think about.
Okay, yeah, that's a good thing to look at with the warehouse space.
Yeah, and it's in our ordinance, and maybe Jane can help you find it if you call her and just say, hey, here's where it is, and just so you know.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, I figured you had, but throw it by them again. Any other questions? Anything? How about on the building? Which in reality, you're going to send the building to the state for review, so we don't have as many questions about that. We're not building people necessarily. I know that. Any thoughts on the question? What the building's for or anything? Anybody knows enough to want to know that? No? It's a manufacturing facility, right? Or is there going to be more research on that end, I assume?
It's a little bit of everything. So we do all of our design and development in-house, and then we do all of our assembly and manufacturing on site too. But a lot of it is actually warehouse,
Okay.
just for raw materials and some finished goods.
Okay. So you're growing, and that's a good thing. So, all right, any questions, site or building? If not, I think we approve it. And you, go ahead, Steve.
Sorry. With that new drain line you outlined coming across North Acres Road, is that something they put in underneath without disturbing the road or traffic? Or how's that going to look? Ooh, potential drainage?
No, the contractor will be responsible for digging up North Acres Road and replacing it as is and maintaining traffic during that time. They can do it kind of a half at a time. But yeah, there will be a little bit of headache with that,
Do
unfortunately.
we require a deposit?
We know where they're at.
Yeah, I know that.
Exterior,
Makes a contractor, not them guys worry more. Go ahead. What's that?
still come with the exterior and what it's gonna look like when this gets approved?
I think this is it right now.
So it's gonna look pretty much the same as what's there, right?
Same style building, right?
Same style?
Precast walls.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can speak to that. So if I'll flip over to the elevations and give you
Sure.
a little bit of an idea. of
Just
what
give them a quick overview of how it's gonna match
Yeah.
up and look and feel and.
Just wanted to make sure.
these are a little sticky, but it'll work.
I recognize that.
So here's kind of here's a 3D view, and we can switch back to a 2D view if you want, if that works better. But there's really three main volumes of the building. There's one on the north side that's going to be a warehouse. That'll all be precast concrete and a low slope, basically flat roof. What we're really trying to do is maximize storage height in there. There's a second volume, which you can see right here. This is a manufacturing edition. This manufacturing edition is going to be a single slope roof that matches the existing slope of the roof. This will all be a pre-engineered metal building to match the existing pre-engineered metal building. So the intent there is same metal panels, same roofing, so that it blends in. On the front side, where we're adding that office piece in, we'll do something similar. So we're matching again that single slope of the roof on the west side of that roof piece there. Also adding in a large covered canopy that'll cover an outdoor break area. It also covers the entryway. Adds a little bit of an architectural detail on that front entryway as well. And then we're just going to continue that blue stripe that's currently on the building around as well too, so it all looks consistent.
Super. All right, any other questions? Very good, thanks. None at all. Other than that, if there's no other questions, I'd entertain a motion to recommend approval of the site plan, utility plan, architectural plans, and landscape, contingent on, of course, they get state approved building plans.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and second to recommend approval of the Costco Marine Edition and all the plans that were presented with understanding of state approval. Any other discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other business before the commission tonight? Jane, do you have anything?
Other than we'll be back in August.
Back in August?
Yep. We have the second phase of the Parliament bill already coming in.
All right. Any other on the commission members have any questions, any thoughts? Any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Motion made and second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.